Split stitch is similar to backstitch. We start in the back of the work and pull the floss up. You'll go down a stitch length, and when you come back up, you'll come up the middle of the first stitch. And we want to split the thread in half. So we have 6 strands, and we want to try to get 3 strands on each side of the needle. Pull your floss all the way through and go back down a stitch length away. Go back up through the middle, split your thread, and back down a stitch length. Your stitches will look like a braid when completed. Stem stitch starts by pulling the needle through the back of the work. You'll come back down, but you'll leave a loop of floss here, and come back in the middle of the stitch length. And pull tight. What is important is that you'll want to keep the floss to the same side. So here we have the floss leaning towards the right. You'll come back up the same stitch hole we just made here, just like the back stitch, and pull tight. Back down a stitch length, and pull your floss to the right. Back through the stitch you just made, and end the stitch. Back down a stitch length, floss to the side, back through the previous stitch. Bring your floss through the back and wrap your floss once around your needle. Pull it tight and go back down in your original hole. Pull your needle up through the back. Wrap it around once. And put your needle back in the hole you just created. Pull it tight. The same technique can be used to make larger French knots. Just wrap your floss around your needle multiple times. This will achieve a thicker knot. For the lazy daisy, we start at the middle of the star. It's exactly like the end of the chain stitch. So we go in close to our first initial stitch. We leave a little loop near the top, come in near the top from the back of the fabric, pull, and this makes our first petal. And just like we finished our chain stitch, I'm going to come back in from the other side to lock it down. Then we come back into our second petal. Back down next to our hole. We leave a loop, up through the back, and we finish our second petal by coming down here. Repeat this process for the number of petals or loops you require.
Start the stitch by drawing 4 lines to use as your guidelines. You'll start through the back of the fabric and skip to the 3rd line of your design. You'll go back up a stitch length at your 2nd line to form a triangle. So we're going to go to the 4th line, parallel to where we just were. We'll go through the fabric and up at the 3rd line. Then, we'll go parallel to the 1st line. And up at 2 to form another triangle. Parallel at 4, and back up at 3. To finish off our stitch, we'll end just like the chain stitch. We'll go over the last stitch to lock it off. Seed stitch is just like the running stitch, but your pattern can be sporadic. You come up from the back and down and make a small line. Think of this as confetti, so you can make it as short or as long as you like. This stitch is great for filling in open spaces.